Well, hey, how y'all doing out there today? Listen, as y'all well know, I like to explain things in common terms. And here lately, I've heard a lot of rhetoric and a lot of yimmering and yammering about socialism from both the left and the right. And those that think that that they love socialism, they see it in one way, and those that hate socialism, they see it in another way. But they're actually both sides of this issue are dead wrong. You have the wrong idea about socialism. Now, before I get started, I'm going to tell you, I don't think socialism is the way to go for a population our size. I don't think communism is the way to go for a population our size. And I also don't think that either of those isms will work for the type of society that we have, because none of you were willing to give up something for somebody else, and there's a lot of blaming. And sorry about the smoke, I got the grill going. uh so let me just explain socialism a little bit first on some layman terms. Socialism is where everybody works for the common good. This would be to provide free health care. This would be to provide free education. This would be to provide a lot of social services. And in the socialist countries that we have today, that lean that way, and their paychecks sure look like it. You can take Canada, for instance, where you have free medicine, you have free medical, you can get social needs taken care of very easily there. But the people that work, which is the majority of the population, and is the majority of the population here in the United States too, by the way, um, they get like roughly 30% of their paycheck. So you got to take that in consideration, that you're paying for all these things. They're not free. Nothing is free. And I want to get that point across to the millennials real quick. Nothing is free. And as a X generation, first year born X generation, I'm going to tell you that I earned my way, and I made my way, and I found out the system was a lie, and I walked away. But fine, we were taught and bred to earn our way. We didn't want anything from anybody else. Nothing was handed to us. We had to earn it, as did our generation before us, and especially the greatest generation before that. And as hard line as that sounds, that's just the way it is. You were not born to be taken care of past your childhood. You were not born. You have to go into adulthood. You have to find your way. You have to find what you need. But in saying that, fine. I am a full believer and supporter of helping my fellow man, helping my brother, helping my tribe, helping my sister through a bad time. This is why this was set up in America the way it was. What you call welfare and EBT is actually a safety net. And it's only a small, roughly 4% of a person's paycheck, not 70% to take care of everything. Now, since they have um, since the government's gotten in bed with insurance companies and the medical industry, and they want sicker people because there's more money in sicker people, it's gotten twisted here in the United States. So, in saying all that as well, I'm going to point this out. The right wing basically complains that they don't want to give handouts to people, but they want to take it down to EBT and helping families through crisis. Well, fine, that's their belief, and they're pretty hard line on it. And I hope to God they don't ever need a helping hand. But in a way, they're right. We shouldn't. In a way, it is thievery. You're taking away from one to give to another. But let's just say we all worked, um, or the majority worked, and well, nobody was ever supposed to provide your education. Nobody was ever supposed to provide your medical. Nobody was supposed to take care of you. We were supposed to be able to do it ourselves, like I said. And now the left, they look at it as the government owes us this, or we are owed this. We're putting this system, and we're going to get ours, and you're going to pay for it. Well, sorry, you're wrong too. The thing is about socialism, the bad thing about socialism is it doesn't give you a choice. You get that? It not only a choice in medicine, not only a choice in education. It doesn't give you a choice to figure out who you are, to be you. You may not be a part of the system. You may be full blown into the system. It doesn't matter. In socialism, you will not have that chance. You are a citizen. You you're a part of the social construct of that particular country. So if they brought socialism here to America, basically It probably would cause civil war. I'm going to be honest with that. For one, like I said, you're not allowed to be who you are. You will never be free. You will always be given what the government gives you, and you will always be given things. And when you're given things, the hard line truth, as I just said, it will make you weaker. Do you want to be weaker? And look how it has worked out in these other countries. Because yes, you can get free medical in the guy that works and the guy that's poor. That's the other thing. That's where the right wing's wrong. In socialism, everybody gets the benefits, not just the people that don't have anything, not just the people not working. So that would make somebody not want to work since everybody's getting it. But that also limits you to private doctors, to paying for your own education, to pay in your own way when you can. So you have to really think about that. And people in Canada, as I was fixing to point out, have to wait months, sometimes years, just to get an MRI. They only really treat emergency situations with any kind of speed. But if you go in just for a doctor's office and I have the gout or I have some kind of issue, you go there, you have to wait and wait and wait. So it actually slows down and allows you to stay sicker and have your ailment longer because you have to wait for medical care. So there's a lot of things to point out about it. Now, before I get through, do I think capitalism is the way to go? Hell no. Capitalism is a cutthroat way of doing business. It's it always, every time, no matter how it starts out, no matter how you look at it, it always starts out good, but it always ends up winding with a super rich and a super poor. Capitalism always weeds out the middle class, we the people. So you have to remember, before you go begging for things or thinking somebody owes you something, it has a price. And that price is not somebody else's paycheck. That price is who you are, your freedom, who you would want to be, what kind of education would you want to pursue, what type of medical advice are you going to take, because you will only be given one shot at that, and it will be the government's way, the provider. Now, since I said something bad about capitalism, and I'm pretty sure some people are going to get out here, they're going to be like, well, Bill, what do you think's better? I think what's best, I'll tell you right now, is to take away all the stinking isms, socialism, communism, capitalism, and throw them in a trash can. You live, you learn a skill. You usually used to learn that from your family. You used to learn that inside the family unit. But since the family unit's torn apart, we don't get to teach our kids anything anymore. But you would learn a trade. You would learn something. You would go out and you would barter that. Money was only meant to be for checks and balances, like you can't go to the doctor and give them a dozen chickens every time you go to the doctor would have a yard full of chickens. No, it's checks and balances. So when that doctor needed something from your particular skill set, he could do that back and forth. Now, barter is the way I think we should go. And the check, the promissory note of more labor or skill sets or something done for that person that you bartered with, that should be how it is. That's how it used to be. But they brought in this thing probably about 12,000 years ago called gold. Now let's think about gold for a minute, y'all. Gold is probably the most worthless metal in all our different types of metals, but yet it's called a precious metal. It was formed into a coin, or it was made into jewelry, and this was sought after. This was envied. But you can't eat gold. You can't drink gold. You can't plant it in the ground and grow a tree and get some peaches off of it. All right, ain't no gold food going to come out of it. It has a little bit of use in the electronics field, and some maybe in I don't know, aeronautics. There might be a few applications for gold, but other than something that has been put in front of you and said, this is money, this is what we value this dollar off of, this is what we value your labor off of. No, how did that come about? I always go back to the original story from the Sumerians about how Enki came here, and the Anunnaki came here because their planet was, they'd killed their atmosphere and they had to replenish their atmosphere with something that used gold. And for the last 12,000 years, we have been mining gold. You are mining gold when you go to work for your paycheck. So you might want to think about that too. This has been placed in your mind because you were born into this system. I don't believe communism works. I pretty much know socialism don't work at mass levels of people. small communities can live in communism with each other, as well as even maybe certain small cities or whatever could live by socialism, as long as half the people are able to take care of the other half. But they both cause a weakness in mankind. Capitalism, I mean, socialism and communism. They cause a weakness in us, and they cause an envy and a hatred for brother, because somebody is taking care of somebody else. So you might want to think about that. The hardline truth, and especially to you millennials out there, is none of us owe you a goddamn thing. And you're not going to get it for free. And what you think you're getting for free has a price, because somebody paid for it. Now, in saying that, is there a better way, young folks? Yes, there is a better way. And it's not through a leader. It's not through a Congress. It's not through some illusion of a government. It's by taking individual responsibility for yourself to learn something that is valuable to other people and barter that skill, that trade, that value with other human beings, with your tribe, with your community, with your state, with your nation. That's how it works. The money was never supposed to be what it is today. So capitalism failed. Matter of fact, your system, your financial system, is actually being propped up, and it has been since 2007, when we would have went into a Great Depression if the Federal Reserve Bank hadn't have popped in $20 billion into the stock market, and then continued to put another $2 billion a month into it since 2007. And of course, Obama coming in 2008 and signing the bankruptcy papers for all the banks that went broke. Did you get any of that bailout money? No, you didn't. So that shows that capitalism don't work. Every time it collapses, they're just going to steal from you again. The super rich. It only makes a super rich and a super poor. So there is another system. It's very old, and it's been used for tens of thousands of years. So you might want to think about that as you're begging a government to change from one evil to another. Because just like with voting, when you say, oh, I got to pick between the lesser of the two evils, well, they're both still evil. Think about that. I love y'all. I want you to have by the way, I want to get this point across. I want every single one of y'all to have the best quality life that you could possibly have. I don't want to see you struggle. I don't want to see you work your fingers to the bone. I also don't want to see you being super rich and filling up your SUV with 50 gallons worth of gas and throwing your cigarette butts out the window. I see where both sides of this issue cause a lot of problems, but all I've ever wanted for any of you was a great quality of life. So I want to define life. Life is living. Do you feel like you're living? Because if you don't feel like you're living, no ism is going to save you. If you're down and out because of the system can't be changed. It's not broken. It's designed to fleece you for every penny you got. But in saying that, you can turn your back on the system. And if we, the people, collectively turned our backs on the system and just bartered and worked with each other, created our own currency to take care of the barter debt, wow, they would dry up and disappear. There would be no more billion-dollar, trillion-dollar corporations. There would be no more government telling you how to live. There would be no more pollution. There would be no more dumping. There would be no more poisoned water, because we took care of it ourselves. Many of us, and I'm going to say us, so I'm not pointing fingers, but many people in America are waiting for somebody else to change this, and you are the change. Now get that through your head, and we can all get along, no matter what your ism is, because the isms ain't going to work. Us uniting and realizing that our brotherhood and us working together like we used to is the solution to all of our problems. Racism, class warfare, the rich, the poor, all of it will change if we begin to trust and love each other again. Build back the unity that we once had, and we have had it before. We have had it many times. Especially, go read back, since none of us know. I wasn't alive then. Go look at the Great Depression. How do you think we got through that? Why do you think it was only like 2.5 million people that starved to death and not the whole nation? And about the Great Depression, 99% of the farms were owned by families. Today, 99% of the farms are owned by the corporations. So if another Great Depression happens, you can pretty much count on about half of this population starving out. And that's all from us waiting on somebody else to make this change that we all know needs to happen. You are the change, brothers and sisters. And I'm so happy to say that, because that is the one ultimate truth that I can give you. You are the change. Live the change. Be the change. Be you. Live free. Be free and die living. And then you'll go out happy, and you'll leave something behind that others can sustain their life from as well and learn from. So be you. But watch out about these isms, and look out. Be careful about who you get in bed with, America. And I'm not going to talk to the rest of the world about this. This is for my American tribe and my American brothers and sisters out there. Y'all need to be careful. Y'all jump into bed with some bitches pretty damn quick. And then you find out later on you got fooled. How many times you got to be fooled to realize what got you fooled was jumping into bed with so-called leaders and other people that say they have your best interest? Who has your best interest in mind, we the people? Who has your best interest in mind? You do, because you're the change. Think about that. I love y'all. Peace, and don't live in fear. And be careful of them isms, man. Them isms are crazy, ain't they? I love y'all.